Welcome. Big warm welcome to everybody who has joined us this morning for the 5 big mistakes that keep small business small. I hope you've got a paper and pen to take loads of notes, because there is a ton of information I'm going to be sharing with you this morning, and I really hope that you have loads and loads of really big ahas and takeaways. So the first thing that I'd like to suggest you do is have a clear intention and be truly purposeful about what you want to get out of attending this morning's webinar. Being purposeful and having a clear intention increases the possibility of you getting what you want by a significant percentage. So just while people are logging on, and I can see people are logging on, please take a deep breath and decide what the best outcome would be for you from attending this webinar, and write it down. Later, I'd love it if you would write it into the box, the chat box. Okay, well, it's time to get started. We're going to run for about 50-60 minutes. And as I said, I really intend that you have a lot of takeaways from this, and that it's a very, very powerful session. But the best way it can be powerful is, of course, if you connect. So I encourage you to turn off your multitasking, turn off your other social media, and really just focus on what you can learn from this webinar in the next hour in order to grow your business. Very good. So the first thing I want to do is really to thank Ascension. Ascension are a group of chartered accountants, and they are based in one of Auckland's newest and greenest buildings, and their purpose is really helping businesses absolutely maximise the opportunities that come their way in a sustainable way. So fantastic that you've offered to host the webinar, Michael, and I really do appreciate that. And I would just like to say how much I appreciate it after the storm we had in Auckland last night, when I lost power at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't get it back again until 4 o'clock this morning. And that's why I really appreciate the opportunity of coming into town and presenting this webinar from somewhere with a decent broadband service that's not going to be cut off. So let's get started. I just want to very briefly and very quickly just talk about my style, if you like. I use a lot of language like who and why and values and purpose, because my experience has taught me that these parts of a business vision are the most important from a marketing perspective. And also, they're important to building an engaged and motivated team. Sometimes these are called soft parts, but in the new economy of win-win that's emerging, they will play an increasingly important role. And they play a big role in people having fulfilling work. And that's what I'm passionate about, because I believe that if more people had fulfilling work, we would reduce the alcoholism, depression, and family violence and other big social problems prevalent in our society today. So you'll hear me talking about big whys later on. That's my big why. I also use customer and client kind of interchangeably, and I ask your forbearance with that. If in your business you call them customers, please hear customers, and if you call them clients, well, please hear clients. I hope that's okay with you. And my mission, I believe in business. Now that might sound strange, but apart from family, business is the most influential structure in our society, and it therefore has the power to do the most good. So I'm on a mission to work with as many business owners as I can to help them be successful and build strong businesses that keep the profits in communities and the cash flowing right there, so we can all enjoy a great standard of living. And if you think this is important too, I'd love you to raise your hand so that I can see. I'll take a look in a second, see how many of you on the line agree that that's a really, really important thing. Fantastic. Yes, okay, nearly 80% of you have raised your hand. So, and if you don't know how to raise your hand, in the top right of your screen you'll see a little sidebar control panel, and it's got a little orange rectangle with an arrow on it. If you click on that, it'll open out and you'll see where you can put your hand up, and you'll see boxes where you can type in questions for me, the presenter. So also at the end of the presentation, I will be offering you a way that you can get started on overcoming the 5 big mistakes I talk about. So I will be making you a very special offer, and I'll be showing you a way you can have my support to work through the first essential building block. So do stay tuned for that as well. So once again, thank you, Michael, from Ascension. Really appreciate your support in offering to host this webinar. Okay, so you can rapidly grow a small business. That's what you're here to learn by focusing on your ideal customer. And in fact, it is my experience that you will grow faster. So if you're passionate about your business and want to grow it, if you want to make a bigger difference in the world, if you know you have a great service or product and you know it could help a lot of people if only you could reach them, and you want to have customers who are aligned with your values and your purpose, that means customers you love serving who become raving fans, but you're not sure what to say or do to attract these great customers, or indeed where to find them, or maybe you don't seem to be connecting with the customers you do have in a meaningful way. You're frustrated with the response to your marketing efforts. You feel you're wasting time and money with your current marketing. You might even feel like giving up on some days. If you relate to any of that, you're in the right place, so stay tuned, because you can rapidly grow your business. This is not a false promise. So my agenda for today, and I think I do talk quite fast, I do apologize, but my agenda for today is that I'll tell you a little bit about me, why I'm passionate about this, and a little bit about why you should listen to me. And then I'll tell you the 5 big mistakes most small businesses make and why they keep businesses small and stuck in struggle. Stuck in struggle, overwork, overwhelm, and underpaid. I'll give you some success examples, some case studies, so you can see it, examples of how it has worked. And I will cover some common fears and misconceptions. We'll take a look at the impact and the cost of making these mistakes, and some of them are rather surprising, or you don't expect that is an outcome of making these mistakes. What you must do differently, and where and how you can get some help. So that's what we'll be covering. So let's roll up our sleeves and get started. Again, we'll be looking at the 5 big mistakes and why they keep business in struggle, the impact and cost of these mistakes, examples of clients I've worked with and businesses I've owned and built to show you how it actually works in practice. We'll look at what you need to do differently, where you can get some help, and I've got some special gifts that I'll be telling you about at the end for those of you who stay on the line. So stay on the line stay with me, and I'll be able to give you the link to download those gifts. I think you will find the reading very, very interesting. So why listen to me? Well, I have spent many years researching this aspect of business. I've started 3 of my own businesses, including this one, my coaching business, all whilst bringing up my children, and I know the hours spent to do it. And I didn't have a coach helping me understand some of the essential principles I'm going to teach you, principles that will save you will save you hours and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Principles I wish I'd known and applied when I started out. And I say applied because knowing stuff and applying that knowledge are 2 different things. I did a huge amount of research before creating this webinar, international as well as local research. And whilst my language may be slightly different, every single business development specialist and marketer agrees that knowing who you want to serve with your product or service is the central question around which all and every marketing tactic and strategy revolves. So it is the central question. So it is one that you must get right. So how did I learn it? Well, it certainly wasn't only at university where I did my 2 postgraduate degrees, including a master's in business strategy. I spent 10 years working in yacht charter in the Mediterranean and the Caribbean. The winters were spent back in the UK at the London and Southampton boat shows on the stand selling the holidays. It all sounds very glamorous, and believe me, it was. It was big time fun. I loved it, but that's not the point. The point is, why did the companies want me on the boat show stand? And the answer is because I knew what the potential charterers needed to hear to book their holidays. I knew the exact words and images that would have them drooling and signing up. I also knew what they feared and had all the answers to their objections. So I could sell a yacht charter holiday almost better than anyone else, and certainly better than the people working in head office who were not close to the customers. I once tried to calculate how many charter holidays I sold, and I lost count when it got to over 16,000. That's also, though, why both companies wanted me to go and work in head office. But I wouldn't, and I didn't. But that's another story for another day. Now, I applied the same thinking when I was head of the School of Performing and Screen Arts. I was head of that school for 1988 to 2002, 14 years or so. I worked out what the potential students wanted, what they wanted, and then I built a program that delivered that. And I knew what they and their parents, often the funders and decision makers, needed to hear to apply. To apply for a program that was twice as expensive as its competition. Yeah? So I knew what they needed to hear. And I grew that school 19% year on year for 12 years in a row. It continues to be the school of choice for contemporary dancers in New Zealand. And again, I applied the same thinking when I started an art dealership for contemporary Pacific artists. I saw an unmet need in the market, and I built a business with a database of over 4,000 people and 72 suppliers in less than 4 years, when the leading competition, who had been in business for 25 years, had less than 1,000 on their database and just 25 suppliers. So I've studied it at university. I've put it into practice in my own businesses and organisations that I have run, and I've applied it with my clients, and I'll give you some of their success stories as we move through. So the 5 big mistakes that trap a small business into struggle and staying small, what are they? Well, mistake number 1 is not being clear on what you want. So, I wonder if I can go in, go back. Let me see if I can just write that in here. I've got a pen. There we go. Okay, a pen. No, Rich, don't try and do that right now. Just go back and get on with it. Okay, not being clear on what you want is mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is not identifying why you do what you do. Mistake number 3 is not knowing who you want to serve. Mistake number 4 is trying to sell the wrong thing at the wrong time. And mistake number 5 is giving in. So let's look at them one by one. Let's look at mistake number 1, not being clear on what you want. So the first question to ask when starting any business is, what do I want? And this sounds so basic, but many business owners I work with have not taken the time to think this through. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, I worked with an engineer who, after years working in the workshop, was given the opportunity to buy it as a business. He and a colleague did, and off they went into business. When they called me in about 5, or maybe it was 7 years later, they were working long hours, including weekends, but not making any net profit. Now, they'd poured their money into the business. They weren't drawing very much in the way of salaries, and they weren't making any net profit. And when we did the what do I want exercise, James realised that he did not want to be working these long hours. And he did want to make a profit because he wanted to hold his head up and be proud. He hadn't gone to university, but he wanted to prove that that wasn't necessary to build a great engineering business. He wanted a business that was fun, profitable, and he could be proud of. One where he worked 40 to 50 hours a week, wasn't afraid of hard work, but he had time off to spend on his hobbies and with his sons. Now that meant a complete change to the way he thought about his business model. An accountant might describe this as no achievable profit objective. Yeah? And that's a big part of it. However, it's also important to know what role you want to play, how much time you're prepared to devote to the business, and how many years you intend to do it for. If you don't know what you want, there is no foundation on which to build your business, and you'll allow it to grow like topsy, any which way, without structure, without form or direction. The cost of this mistake? You'll end up with something you didn't want. You will not be getting what you want in your life or your work, and you'll have wasted the opportunity and quite possibly a good part of your life. So just so I have an idea, please raise your hand if you recognize this problem in the business you're in. I'll just go and take a look and see how many of you recognize this problem. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Okay, so we've got about 25% of you, that's about a quarter of you, recognize this problem, this first problem. Of not knowing what you want. Yep, we've gone up to 26%. So, okay, let's move on then to mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 is not identifying why you do what you do. Now, this mistake might be described as running a business tactically rather than strategically. It's really about values and purpose, and it forms the backbone of sales and marketing, language and systems. I liken it to the process of romance. Any woman or bloke will do, right? Yeah, really? So let me use the art dealership example to explain the importance of this. I started that business with a partner because we wanted the world to see contemporary Pacific art for what it was, real art, equal to Western art. We wanted Pacific artists to earn the same sort of sale price as Western artists. This big why gave us the language to attract both artists as suppliers and customers who held a similar aspiration. Yeah? The big why gave us the language to attract our customers. It gave us language to connect. It informed our customer relations, our systems, our marketing style, even the way we presented the art. And it contributed significantly to the rapid growth of that business. So just like romance, we like to do business with people we know, like, and trust. But we like people more quickly and easily if they're a bit like us. That is, they share the same values. They want to live in a world similar to our world. We can trust them to behave in ways we approve of. So another example is the web development company I worked with, Year 09. They identified that the reason they wanted to work on the web is that they loved it, and they saw it offer the opportunity to be global. They identified their purpose was to work with businesses building global e-commerce. They wanted to travel, and this was going to be a way that they could do that. The fact that they loved what the web made possible gave them language, a culture, and a sales process that attracted exactly the right kinds of prospects, and they grew very rapidly once they established themselves as experts in that arena. So what is this mistake costing your business? Well, getting distracted by every prospect or opportunity that comes your way. Not having the right language when talking to prospects. Not being able to identify with your prospects and helping them understand why buying from you is the perfect solution for them. Losing the trust of prospects makes the sale much, much harder. and losing out to someone who does truly understand what matters to you, to your prospects. All of which means, of course, lost revenue and lost opportunity, lost profit. So can you clearly articulate why you do what you do? If you think you can clearly articulate, I'm not going to ask you to do it now, but if you think you can clearly articulate why you do what you do, would you mind putting your hand up, and just so that I can see? Okay, we've got about, okay, we've got about 25% of you who say that you can do that. That's fantastic. But what that means is that 75% can't. 75% of you don't. So this is mistake number 2, not knowing why you do what you do, is affecting 75% of you. Okay, so let's move on to mistake number 3. This is not knowing who your ideal customer is, who you really want to serve. This is probably the most common. It means your marketing will be costing you a fortune, but not delivering you one. And even your sales process will have so many holes in it, prospects will fall through like water through a sieve. What is it costing your business? Let's take the example of a hairdresser. When I go to the hairdresser, I want to be reminded of my appointment, a nice little text, offered my preferred day of the week and my time of day, and I want to be pampered. I want the cup of coffee, the head massage, the special magazine to read, the best products, my hairdresser to cut my hair, not just any old hairdresser. So I found a hairdresser whose systems and processes are specific to those needs. No, they're not needs, those desires. Yeah, they're specific to my desires. Obviously, I pay for these services. But my sons, on the other hand, they just want a number 4 at $15 and out of there fast as. Yeah. So this is a really obvious difference, but it illustrates the point clearly that we must write marketing copy, create our sales process, build our systems, establish our standards, set pricing for our ideal customer, or they will not want to do business with us. They might come once, but they won't come back, and they'll find it really, really difficult to refer. Systems and processes in a building, including your sales and marketing systems and processes, are the basis of building the relationship, the basis of your customer service. They reflect values, wants, needs, and desires. So what is this costing your business? What is the effect of not knowing who you really want to serve? Well, the effect is no alignment. And no alignment means it's hard to attract prospects, hard to make the sale, and almost impossible to establish a long-term relationship, and limited or no referrals. An ideal customer will not be attracted to you, and you'll be making offers to them that are all wrong. So in fact, you'll be turning them off. Plus, increasingly your business systems and processes would become fixed in ways aligned to a non-ideal customer. So you've got a double negative happening there. It's a downward spiral. You and your staff will find it harder to sell to ideal customers. You will experience frustration with your marketing efforts, wasted marketing spend, and certainly loss of profit. And the final thing, developing new products or services that are easy to sell will be difficult because you will lack the understanding of what your customer or prospect wants next. You'll lack the understanding necessary to develop new products or services that they need and will buy. Great. So let's take a look at mistake number 4. Mistake number 4 is trying to sell the wrong thing at the wrong time. Not knowing what problems your ideal customer needs to solve, in what order. Often we have the long-term solution for our customers, but that is not what they need right now. Here's an analogy from baseball. We all know that in baseball there are 4 plays. Well, maybe we don't, but in baseball there are 4 plays. And the objective of the batsman is to get a home run. So that's run around the 4 plates back home. Hitting the ball is optional, I understand, but I don't quite get that. But anyway, it's likely that you have a core product that you want your ideal client to buy. Yep. So liken your core product to a home run. Hopefully it's plenty of margin, and once you sell one to a client, they're happy, and then you're happy, and your bank and your accountant are happy, and so is your family. The idea here that I'm talking about right now is to work with the reality as it is and not as we want it to be. What I mean by that is we would love it to be real for lots of clients buying our core product right now, straight off the bat, if you like. And if any marketing activity is happening, then it's mostly directed at trying to get this result, trying to get people to buy that core product. This is like asking a client to step up to home plate and hit a home run with 0 other options, yeah? Nothing else to do or buy. No way to get to know, like, or trust you. Imagine how nervous you would be if you were playing baseball but the rules changed so that you could not stop at base 1 or base 2 or base 3. You had to hit a home run or nothing. And that's often what we ask our customers or clients to do when we only give them our core product to buy. So instead of fighting reality, we work with it. After extensive research, the American Marketing Association discovered that it is 5 times easier and 80% less expensive to sell a product to an existing client than it is to sell to a new client. So let's give new clients a first base option, a product that is so inexpensive and so jam-packed full of value that when they look at, they think, that's a great offer and the money is no obstacle. So once a new client is happily enjoying the benefits of your first base product, it is relatively easy to upsell them to a second base product, and so on. It's a mistake to think that the purpose of a customer is to get a sale. Think rather that the purpose of a sale is to get a customer, someone who will learn to know, like, and trust you, someone who will buy again and again, someone you know so well, you know what to offer them next, so they stay for years, if not a lifetime. They are so happy with you, they refer their friends and colleagues, etc., etc. Now, I know this is a big aha for lots of people, so I will just say that again. It's a mistake to think that the purpose of a customer is to get a sale. Switch it round and think rather that the purpose of a sale is to get a customer. Okay, an example might be, I'm a marketing strategist and I can help you build your business exactly as it needs to be to give you what you want from it. Yeah? But if right now all you need is more customers to increase your cash flow, that longer term goal is just not in your sights right now. What is in your sights is more customers. So that's why I've built this program, I'll be talking about it in a little while, to support my ideal clients becoming more financially secure with a steady stream of new customers. Later, they may well be interested in exploring with me what else I can do to support them to build the business of their dreams. On the way to that, they learn to know, like, and trust me. So what does this mistake mean in your business? Well, it means customers will not see what they need right now because you won't be offering it, and they'll walk right on past your core product offering. You will lose them, and it's highly unlikely that they'll come back. So not only have you lost the immediate sale, you've also lost the longer-term opportunity. So again, you've lost not only the immediate sale, but you've lost the longer-term opportunity. Another double negative happening here. So we're now up to our final mistake, mistake number 5. And mistake number 5 is giving up. This is the one that really breaks my heart, to see someone's dreams of a great business dashed. I do know how this feels, and I know the financial, family and social implications of a failed business. But often we give up on a dream when all it needed was some fine-tuning, perhaps some specialist input with that little bit of guidance. Interestingly, usually our staff know when a business owner has given up, often long before the owner will admit it. They sense it in body language and actual behaviour. For example, the owner might be asking staff to step outside their comfort zone, stretch and learn new approaches. But if the staff see the owner sitting behind her desk all the while, the natural response is she's not doing it, so why should we? Trust in the owner goes out the window. This causes lack of engagement, poor performance, high turnover, and difficulties in hiring. So if you're close to giving up on your business because you think you've tried everything and nothing has taken off as you had hoped and dreamed, stay with me, because a complete turnaround in your business is entirely possible. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go back to the beginning and just recap on those 5 big mistakes. Not being clear on what you want, not identifying why you do what you do, not knowing who you want to serve, trying to sell the wrong thing at the wrong time, and giving up. Good. All right. So let's have a look at some of the symptoms of the 5 mistakes, what might be showing up in your business. So not knowing what you want leads to no structure or plan. So nothing to follow, no direction. Not knowing why you're in the business you're in leads to no clear objectives, profit or otherwise. Not knowing who you want to serve, symptom of that is often poor marketing and low sales. So poor results from your marketing and low sales, obviously, that will lead to lack of profit. Selling the wrong thing at the wrong time shows a lack of strategy or strategic thinking. And finally, giving up is really failing to commit. Leads to high staff turnover, poor performance, and certainly to lack of engagement. So let's take a few big ahas, see what people have taken on so far. I saw some ahas here. Yep, this one here. Ah, dear. Symptoms and processes, including sales and marketing, just not giving you the results that you want. So what are some of the obvious and maybe less obvious costs of these mistakes? You're not getting the customers or making the profit you want. Asking for the sale is difficult and often stressful. You're losing out on repeat and referral business. Your team find it really difficult to understand why you want them to do things in a certain way. So establishing systems and standards is much more difficult than it needs to be. And you may experience very poor performance and a high staff turnover. So you can never become the go-to expert in one area. Try and think to be all things to everybody. You just can't become an expert. You can't become the solution provider that people turn to. And if you're not the expert solution provider, why would anyone come to you? Yeah, there's plenty of choice around. So you can never become the go-to expert and shine. You're constantly reworking and customizing. Now this is a big thing. The cost of customizing every time you get a new client, or if you're chasing clients and you aren't turning away the ones who aren't ideal, you think, oh, well, it won't take too long. I'll just change this for you, or I'll modify that for you, or I'll do this in a different way just for you. The cost of this in time and resources is absolutely massive. And if you're spending your time and resources doing that, you can't be spending your time and resources building your business, because that isn't building your business. It's just serving one customer at a time. It's massively expensive. Your pricing strategy is turning away potential customers. Yeah? You just haven't got the pricing right. Price is very important, but being the cheapest or the most expensive is only important if it's important to your ideal customer. So your marketing might be simply not working. Yeah, you're possibly marketing in all the wrong places, spending too much and not getting any return on investment. Yeah, so all this means you're working too hard, too long, for too little return and too little joy. And that probably means you're tired, frustrated, and the joy may well have gone from your business. Okay, but don't get stuck there. There is a solution. There is a solution. You can fix all of these mistakes easily and returning to building your business with ease and grace. The solution is to be so crystal clear about why you do what you do, who you want to serve, what you want, exactly what the pain of your ideal client is, that's the problem you solve, what they really, really want, and what they need right now, so that you have words that tap dance on their emotional buying motivators. I'll repeat that because it's really important. If you like, it's the critical part of today's webinar. The solution to all these 5 problems is to be so crystal clear about what you want, why you do what you do, who you want to help, what problem your offer, service or product solves. That means knowing exactly what their pain is and what they really, really want, and what they need right now, so that you have the words that tap dance on their emotional buying motivators. Starting here with your ideal client means you can put the right business structure in place. You can identify achievable dividend or profit objectives. You can create sales and marketing systems or procedures for achieving those objectives. You can run the business tactically, not strategically. And you can put a staff training program in place that makes sense to the staff and that they get on board with. Yeah. So, when I talk with business owners about being willing to focus on their ideal customer, the most common response is this: I just need to take any customer right now and I can't afford to turn any away. Yeah, and this is understandable, but it will slow down in a big way your business growth. So let's look a little bit more closely at some more of the fears around identifying and marketing to only your ideal customer. These fears often stop a business owner being willing to focus on their ideal. So let's look at the first one. You're really afraid of turning away business. Yeah, it feels really scary to say no. So let me say straight away that every single client that I've worked with who's gone through this process and narrowed down their niche to their ideal, their business has grown fast. And I mean fast. My client who was a mortgage broker, she received fastest business growth 2 years in a row after narrowing down her ideal customer and working at exactly what she was going to do to solve their problems and work with them. Yeah, fastest business growth in her industry for 2 years in a row, and she increased her net profit 93%. Also, just because you focus your marketing and service or product delivery on an ideal customer doesn't mean customers who don't fit that profile exactly won't be attracted. They will. So what's the second fear? Well, it's that you'll get boxed in and you won't be able to expand. Actually, the opposite is true. If you're not doing very well in business right now, you won't be able to expand anyway. So fear that narrowing down to our ideal client will box us in is voicing the fear that our business is not going to grow, and indeed that it may not. Indeed it may not, if you don't address this issue. Another client who identified their ideal and adjusted the solution they offered had to move premises 3 times since 2009 because they've grown their team exponentially from 3 to a team of 11 now. Huge growth from being focused on the ideal solution for their ideal customer. So once you've got your offering and your market to this ideal client, you will have the resources, time and energy to go after another niche with a tailored offering to them. So build it step by step. The third fear. You're afraid of choosing the wrong ideal client or ideal customer. Well, maybe you will, but nothing's static in business. Business and marketing are not set and forget. Everything is changing very, very rapidly in the world in which we live, so you're not going to be able to make the wrong choice here. What might happen is you recognize that, well, I made a choice about an ideal client, but they're not the ones I love working with, or they don't have a big enough problem. To deal with this fear, first, get clear on your who, and then follow this with research to find out how big that potential market is and what the competition is and whether you can differentiate yourself and create an offer of a product or service at a profitable price. I've been fine-tuning my ideal client for my coaching services over the past few years, and I am really clear that I want to help micro and small businesses serving a local community become really financially sustainable, enabling their owners to have a great life, loads of fun, and serve their customers in truly great ways. I know this will mean that they have more time to think about some of the bigger issues in the world we need to solve, and resources to put that towards those solutions. The fourth fear is that you don't know if there are enough of your ideal customers around or how to find them. Again, it's really important once you've identified who you want to serve and what problem they have that you do some more research. You do need to know whether this market is big enough. But there are many tools that you can use for this, including Google, and there's lots and lots of different ways we can research our ideal client and know how many exist and whether it's possible for us to reach them or reach enough of them to make the business model that's the economic engine of the business work. And a final fear might be, what do I do with my existing customers if I find they're not the ones I really like to work with? Well, interestingly enough, if they're not ideal for you, they will be ideal for someone else. So at some point, you get the opportunity to say, look, you're not really my ideal customer, and they will either go away or over time they'll just drift away. Yeah? It's not easy to let them go in the first instance, but letting them go frees you up to spend the time on the ones who are your ideal customers, the ones who are profitable as well as you love to work with. Okay, so don't just take my word for it, yeah? Yes, I built the School of Performing and Screen Arts from a $50K business to a $5 million business in 11 years. Yes, I've worked with clients, with the example I gave you, going from 3 to 11 staff in 4 years. Clients who've got, achieved fastest business growth 2 years in a row and a 93% increase in net profit. But when I was preparing this webinar, I asked one of my smallest businesses if I could talk about her growth. I began working with Laura of Polish Design in March of this year. Now, Laura's online with us today, so this is, I'm not making these stories up. So I began working with Laura in March, and in the 5 months to the end of June, she had earned 50% more than the whole of the previous year. Yeah, all through working out her ideal customer and building her systems and processes to serve that ideal person. And this is what Laura said just recently. With just a few weeks into coaching, Bridget's been helping me to understand my vision and put a plan around it. I'm confident about where I'm heading. It's important to speak the right language to potentials and current clients, and this is something we're focusing on a lot. I find her style easy to follow, and I've noticed lots of changes in just a short time, and I am able to go after those big proposals and be confident in the value I deliver to my customers. Now, the reason I've chosen to mention Laura is for two reasons. One, it's a small business, and I just want to let you small businesses on the line know that it's absolutely possible to achieve this growth if you're a small business. It's a small business, and it's just 2 years old. The second is that having identified why she was in business and who her ideal customer was, Laura was really courageous, and she dropped many of her previous services and increased her focus on the one her ideal customer really needs. Her small business has grown 300% as a result of her choice to focus on an ideal customer and develop her offering for her ideal. So I'm not suggesting that identifying the answers to these questions is all that it takes to build a great business. That would be really leading you astray to suggest that. But what I am saying is you still need to focus on sales and profit. You still need to hire the right people. You still need to build effective systems and methods. You still need a quality product and service that somebody actually wants to buy. And your profit will depend on 4 things. Your available potential customers, I've talked about doing that research. Your ability to create selling opportunities in that market, I've talked about how you would do that. You and your staff's business, sales and marketing skills, and your ability to contain costs and increase markets. Yeah. But focusing on your ideal customer is the foundation of your strategic plan, your marketing plan, your business systems, and your people systems. It means your offer will be much deeper, much more transformative, more catalytic, which means it will be more memorable, more referable, and more satisfying, not only for your clients, but for you and your team. And what that means, it's great for growth. Okay, how are you all doing? Let me just check in there. How's everybody doing? Hands up if you're doing okay and you're hanging in there with me. It's been a bit of a marathon, so really do appreciate you hanging in. Well, oh, good, thank you. Well, that's nearly all of you, so that's wonderful. Some of you are probably trying to multitask. Anyway, let's keep moving. Time to do a bit of learning. So, I've seen lots of programs that talk about your target market, yeah? I've seen programs that also get you to identify your niche. But most of these talk about demographic information, and they're not particularly helpful. It's mostly head stuff, not heart stuff. I've also seen programs that do tell you to work out your ideal client, but they don't give you a structured process to do that. So none of the other programs start with your big why, your purpose, and include a structured process to identify your values and what that means in a business context for your business. Yeah. So what we want is to really get inside the hearts of our ideal customers. Okay. There are at least 12 common small business problems that identifying and working with your ideal customer will solve. I'm going to work through some of them, but I'm wondering if you'd like to type into the question box the most urgent problem you would really like to solve right now. How can I grow my business? Fantastic. How can I bring more cash into my business right now? How can I stop under-earning and begin charging what I'm worth? Or how can I have customers I really like? How can I have a sales process that works? How can I ensure my ideal customer understands that I really, really do get them? How can I sell easily with compassion and empathy? Great. Okay. So I'm starting my business. How do I find who my ideal client or customer is? I've done target market exercises and they haven't helped bring in new clients or customers. They just don't seem to be specific enough. Fair enough. Okay. I've been marketing, advertising, networking, growing my database, etc., but without greater success. How do I get better results when I'm not really sure what I'm doing? How do I hit refresh on my business when I'm tired and frustrated? These are all questions that can be answered by my approach to solving this problem, working with your ideal client. So hands up again. If you would like to hear a little bit about that. I'm going to move now into my solution. Oh, thank you. Oh, good. Well, at least 60% of you want to hear my solution, so I'm going to keep going. All right. But just before we get there, I just want to make sure it's really important that you don't get more frustrated. So I just want to look for the most efficient. I'm going to talk about the most efficient approach. Yeah. And there are a couple of things that really, really don't work. So the first one is this picture that you've got here. Yeah. Tactical versus strategic. It's a little bit like putting the cart before the horse. Tactical is, trying out the latest marketing tactic, the latest SEO tactic, or the latest social media tactic, or even creating a website before you have done this work. Yeah. So that's like putting the cart before the horse, and as the image suggests, this cart ain't going to go very far very fast. The other thing is working with a series of ideas that you've gleaned from books or workshops or even seminars like this one. Just like baking a cake, the order you do things in does matter. If you put all of the ingredients for a cake into a baking tin and put it in the oven, you won't make a cake. Yeah? That's why I've created a clear, structured program for you to work through. And I'll tell you a little bit more about it very soon. And the third thing that doesn't work is this approach. Yeah, the number 8 fencing wire. Now, for those of you who are not in New Zealand, this is a particularly New Zealand talent. Yeah, thinking we can do it, we can fix it, and we don't need any outside help. This was a critical skill in pioneering days, but it's not helpful in a modern business. There's simply too much to know, too many options, and too many pitfalls. It's a complicated world. This mindset will hold you back almost more than anything else. The engineering client that I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this webinar said that this was the most important change I helped him make. Yeah, understanding that he couldn't do it all himself and some outside help was going to make the difference for him. This was the one thing that got him to build a successful $3 million business without debts and have the time to do the things he wants outside of his business. So let's just look very quickly before I tell you about the solution. I want to make sure that you know that it can work for you. So I've used this process with businesses from solo entrepreneurs to large organizations. And here are some examples. My ideal client these days is a micro or small business owner who wants to build a great business and just needs some help to do that. So these are the sizes of businesses, and then I've worked with businesses in pre-startup, startup, growth, plateau, and even in decline. It can work for all of these businesses, all of the businesses in these stages, sorry. And another question is sort of what business type or industry does it work for? Well, I've used this personally in 19 different businesses and industry types in the private and public sector, not-for-profit, etc., universities, government departments, etc., etc. Engineers, event managers, public speakers, beauty therapists, electricians, web developers, IT specialists, video, production companies, lawyers, accountants, insurance brokers, schools, not-for-profits, charities, investment brokers, graphic designers, physiotherapists, artists, specialist retail stores, in fact, any business that recognises that they provide what is in effect a service. I specialise in business that sells a service. Even if they're selling products, if they understand that what they're offering is really a service to their ideal client. That's what I specialise in. So, okay, how are we doing? All good. Fantastic. So, what is my remedy? Yeah? My easy to swallow and easy to follow remedy. What is it? I've created a 7-step program that walks you through everything you need to hit refresh on your business, hit refresh on your energy to grow your business, create marketing and sales that work like magic. Yeah? It's an online program with a weekly webinar and Q&A calls. You get worksheets and templates. I think there's about 14 of them. MP3 recordings so you can listen as well as read. Guidance in working through the exercises. That's guidance from me. Exercises you can use again and again every time you decide on a new market to target. So that you will be able to, here we go, so that you'll be able to attract lots of customers, ideal customers, make more money, waste less money on ineffective marketing, market to the right people, those who will buy, not the wrong people. Have more customers aligned with your values so you enjoy your work more and have more fun. Have more customers deliver awesome referable customer service. Say goodbye to marketing frustrations. Increase your net profit. Have more time and enjoy your business, your life, and your work again. All by knowing, attracting, selling to, and serving your ideal customer. So just very quickly, the 7 key elements are: what do I care about and why am I in the business I'm in? What are my values and what's their impact on my business? Who is my target market, my niche, and then drilling down into your ideal customer? What is your ideal customer's pain and what is their significant unmet need? That's what you're going to fill. Understand that and then create a compelling picture of your ideal. Discover in the most powerful words to connect with the emotional buying motivator of your customer, and then put it all together, putting it all to work. So those are the 7 steps in the program. It begins on October the 17th and runs until November the 28th. And as soon as you register, you'll get access to the prep worksheet so you're ready to get the most benefit from the course. This is what's possible. Doubling your business, 90 days, 93% increase in net profit. In fact, 300% business growth in 5 months. Growing faster than anyone else in your industry. Attracting great team members, going from no leads to 15 clients in 13 weeks, and doing 50% more business in 5 months than you did in the whole of the previous year. Now that's really, really exciting, I would have thought. So the price is $8.97. There's lots of bonuses. How to create a profitable and effective sales process, and 19-chapter ebook valued at $97. How to create a 6-figure business, a wealth and freedom creating asset. That special report is also valued at $97. And then learning effective networking skills valued at $495. Total value of the bonus is $695. So if you're thinking about doing this, what I want to do is to tell you now about my guarantee, because it's really, really important that you feel totally comfortable with your decision. Yeah. So read the guarantee, and the $100 that I keep is to cover just sort of PayPal and bank charges. So buy the program, do all the exercises, attend the webinars, get my help, and if you're not satisfied that you have identified your ideal client and how to talk to them in ways that tap dance on their buying motivators, then let me know and I'll refund your money. You keep all the worksheets, you keep everything. I'll skip $100 for administrative expenses. So all you could lose is $100. Here's your gifts for staying to the end of the webinar. Yep, we've come to the end of the webinar. If you want to buy the program, I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link also to your gifts for staying to the end. You can grab them here, but I'll send you that link. You'll also get a link to download the webinar. And if you're ready to get started, here we go. You can buy one payment of $8.97 or 2 payments of $4.97. Some questions are coming in about the program. I'll take those questions right now. Yes, you can buy later, but as I said, the $6.97 was just for people who were live on the webinar, and I really do want to honour that. You still get the bonuses. I'll get my cursor back where I need it to be. There. It doesn't matter if you miss a webinar. They'll all be recorded and uploaded to the program. And it doesn't matter if you aren't able to start on the 17th, because you can just catch up. As soon as you buy, you'll get access to all the preparatory worksheets, and I'll bring you up to speed. The program's hosted online in a program called JigsawBox. Only you will see your own, only you will see your own responses to your work, even though it's hosted online. And of course me, so I can help you and give you feedback. So there we go. Thanks for joining me from this webinar. I hope you've had powerful takeaways, and that you learned a lot. And I really look forward to working in the program, in the boot camp, starting on October the 17th, working with you and helping you build a great business. Really do look forward to that. So thanks again. Take care.